Haya Dakshinamurtiya Namaha Sava Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharanta Magocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti Ramji Shankara Dayananda. Verse 103. Yes. I have regained my kingdom due to your grace and the grace of Ishvara. You and Ishvara are one. I bow to you again and again. The self cannot strictly speaking, be regained. That's a good point. I have regained my kingdom, meaning to say I have regained myself. So the self cannot be regained, strictly speaking, because the self was never really lost.
Because you are the self.
Yeah. So how can I regain or find again something that I have never lost in the first place, right? It was just simply obscured by
Maya.
Yes, ignorance, rajas and tamas, Maya. The student has not acquired anything. He has rather lost the illusion that he is the limiting adjunct. Did I do all right? Adjunct? He has rather lost the illusion that he is the limiting adjunct, the upadhis of the body-mind. The saying less is more in this context reaches its ultimate meaning. That's very nice, huh? The self is shine its full glory when it's no longer confuses itself with the limiting adjuncts. It just negates all of them until it's totally isolated, so to speak. Less is more. The less superimposition, the better. The less ignorance, the better. The student credits his release from the notion that he is limited to the grace he received from the teaching and from Ishvara, the cosmic order. It's so nice, this term, the cosmic order. That's what Ishvara means. The intelligent cosmic order that governs the experience of all jivas. By the grace of the cosmic order, the student credits his release from the notion that he is small, limited, and inadequate. The grace received from Ishvara, the cosmic order. He then equates the teacher to Ishvara, and both in gratitude and reverence. The use of the term grace can be a source of confusion to Westerners, for whom the concept is embedded in theological notions of an extra cosmic deity who chooses, often arbitrarily, to give special favors or powers and knowledge to this or that individual. So we imagine that grace is coming from someone who has the power to, I'm going to favor this one, I'm going to favor that one because he has been praying very often. He's repeating my name, mantras and so on. No, there is nobody there. It's just the cosmic order, Ishvara, the system. It is intelligent, brilliant, knowledge cosmic order. That's what is referred to the grace received from the Ishvara, the cosmic order. And how are we meant to get this grace? And we all remember Ramji saying that grace is beautiful, but must be earned. The idea that you can just do certain actions, do some sadhanas, and wait for grace. Or just repeat, who am I, and wait for grace. Or sit in deep silence and wait for grace to enlighten you. It's not enough. For any whatsoever we want to achieve, we need to apply the best possible prayer, which is appropriate action in harmony with what you want to achieve. If you want to achieve freedom, freedom is only possible by the removal of ignorance. Therefore, you have to act by applying knowledge to ignorance so that you may achieve your goal. By sitting in samadhi or silence, grace is not going to deliver freedom to the individual, because freedom does not come out of silence. Grace is the result of our own effort. It has to come by merit. You cannot do a certain action and get a result that is not related to that action. Some actions are very good, but for other goals. I have a toothache and I'm really in deep pain and it's late in the afternoon and I go to the car dealer and I tell them, hey, you're still open, that's good, I fixed my problem here. So, no, it's not appropriate action. You have to go to the dental clinic and in the proper time. So, if you want to be free, you need to remove your ignorance. Therefore, to produce silence or bliss is not the proper action. Proper action is to inquire on the teachings as presented by the scriptures on self-knowledge, not the scriptures on self-experience. There is no such a thing. The use of the term grace can be a source of confusion to Westerners, for whom the concept is embedded in theological notion of a big God up there who is arbitrarily favoring someone with knowledge or any other thing, requests. This is not what grace means in this verse, or what it means in the tradition of Vedanta. The key to understanding the meaning of grace lies in the student's attribute it to Ishvara, the cosmic order. The key to understanding the meaning of grace lies in the student's attributes. The student's attribute? Huh? Oh. Huh? Describing? Ascribing. Okay. Ascribe it to Ishvara, the cosmic order. Now I understood. Now, Ishvara is the impersonal order, impersonal law that keeps the world spinning, intelligently spinning, precisely. It's not chaos. It's just following its intelligent design. It is in reference to the individual karma. Ishvara is this impersonal law that keeps the world spinning. It is in reference to individual karma, only the human individual, the human jivas. To say that Ishvara gives us the fruit of our actions is to personalize in some measure the fact that every action produces its proportionate reaction. We are personalizing that. As we have established already before, all karma is impersonal. This order follows its own nature impersonally. But we personalize it as individual jivas. the fact that every action produces its proportionate reaction. Apply Occam's razor, a problem-solving principle stating that among competing hypotheses, the one with the fewest assumptions should be selected. One can cut away Ishvara, but to do so deprives us of a useful concept for understanding how the phenomenal world operates. That's very nice. We assume that this other factor we call Ishvara as a tool to understand the system and to understand how to rid ourselves from psychological suffering. So we could negate that assumption, but one can cut away Ishvara, but to do so deprives us of a useful concept or tool for understanding how the phenomenal world operates. Ishvara is shorthand, a method of rapid writing by means of abbreviations and symbols. Ishvara is shorthand, a method of rapid writing by means of abbreviations and symbols for the countless complex process in which the body-mind participate. Remember when I mentioned that the equation, Ishvara's equation, or the cause and effect equation of life is so complex that we have no means to connect the dots. So Ishvara it's a method of rapid writing by means of abbreviation for the countless complex process of cause and effect in which the body-mind participates. So everything here is impacting everything else. There is cause and effect. Every action produces a reaction. And at the end we have our karma beautifully designed according to our own actions. And the whole system, this order, we call Ishvara. It is phenomenal existence in its totality. We talk about Ishvara. It's the phenomenal existence. Existence manifests as phenomenal object in its totality. So that's the macrocosm body of Ishvara, the macrocosm mind of Ishvara, and the macrocosm causal body of Ishvara. Ishvara, as the giver of the results of action has given the student the fruit of his inquiry, self-knowledge. All of that to say that self-knowledge is to be earned by grace. And the grace comes as a result of our own merits, effort. Our own search. So this cosmic order, as the giver of the results of action, has given the student the fruit of his inquiry, which is self-knowledge and moksha. He now knows he is the limitless joy announced in the very first verse of this text. We have limitless joy, limitless security. This joy encompasses both the student and the teacher, the individual and Ishvara. So this joy is beyond Ishvara, Jiva and Jagat. It's the very nature of existence. It is the self in which all seeming difference disappear. It's the self, the limitless nature of the self in which all apparent difference are seen to be negated, are seen to be false. It is very beautiful. Any questions, any comments, anything we could say about this verse? Anybody has any idea?
is not awake, doesn't know who they are, actually has freedom, what's the word? Free will, to be able to make decisions and take actions apart from these numberless conditions that limit it.
Yeah, you're right. Ultimately, the most fundamental truth, it's all impersonal, you remember? But somehow we have a certain responsibility in this stream, this life stream we call the journey of the soul. Although it's impersonal, there is a dynamic relationship between the apparent individual acting out in the world and the apparent God, we call Ishvara, or the cosmic order, because the results of your actions are going to be influenced by whatsoever action you put in the field, the way you respond to the stimuli of the field. So we can always say, but we are responding according to our vasanas, right? Therefore, there is no free will. The vasanas respond to us. But if it was only a question of vasanas in operation, we would be a static, never-changing phenomenon, because the same vasanas would be just repeating themselves. There is a certain factor in the human experience that produces modifications of vasanas. And that is our choice. And those choices, unfortunately, are only determined by our likes and dislikes. What I want, what I don't want, what I like, what I don't like, what tastes good, what tastes bitter. Those conditions to conform, those design my vasanas. So we are making choices, but our choices are not very intelligent because they are not bringing to the picture the needs of the total. It's not bringing to the picture the cosmic order and how it operates and how you can work in harmony with the field so that you can achieve your goals, whatsoever goals it is. So to a certain degree, we have a free will when we begin to understand the system and we begin sacrificing our likes and dislikes. Because the normal, the mechanical way to go is just about getting what I want. I want what I want, and when I want, and I don't want what I don't want. This is the mechanical, compulsive force that moves the world. No, desires and fears, the same energy, desires and fears. I want something or I want to avoid something. So a time comes that one becomes smart, and then we can say one begin exercise one's free will. But again, it's due to a certain vasana, a spiritual vasana there that somehow brings the scriptures into one's life, or brings a guru that somehow makes one understand that it's not about me, that you have to bring the overall environment into the picture and act in harmony with Dharma and so on. When we get introduced to the scriptures of Kama Yoga, Dharma and self-knowledge, and then we find ourselves in a kind of a dilemma. It's like, on one hand we have this huge, heavy, very dense and inert kind of force, load of vasanas that are compelling us to act in a certain way. But we have got in contact with the scriptures and we say, no, I don't want to be pushed around by those vasanas anymore. Because I understood that it's not in my best interest, I suffer. Even if I gain what I want, I suffer. Because I'm hurting other people, I'm hurting the field, I'm being disrespectful and whatnot. So when we begin to understand that, and then to a certain degree we begin to exercise a certain aspect of a higher apparent free will, because it's the free will of going against your vasanas. It's like, it's quite a free will, I mean, you have to put up against those forces that are going to condition your life for the rest, forever. You're trapped in samsara, you have to say no more. No more. I have got in contact with the scriptures. I want to conform my mind, my actions, my thoughts to the scriptures. And I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to expose my mind. And I'm going to be applying the knowledge, Ishvara knowledge and self-knowledge to the field. You understand? It's a very fine line, this subject of free will. Because ultimately life is nothing but vasanas in operation. But for some merits, we find ourselves here having Vedanta. Hey, please, Ishvara, having the scriptures in our life. And then we say, oh, it's now I can exercise my free will and apply the knowledge. I either apply the knowledge or I just let the vasanas push me around. We all know this. We all of us come to that point in life here and there. Now when we say no more, it's enough. No, I keep being pushed around by some attitudes, very, very old patterns of behavior, and thoughts and so on, and they are not good for me, not good to the people next to me. So now I have some knowledge, I have willpower, and I'm gonna put up a fight, and I want to modify those vasanas. So we could say that to a certain degree this is a more proper exercise of free will. You understand?
The way I've thought about it is whether or not we actually have free will, we have no choice but to act as though we do. Because who else is going to tell us what to do?
I mean, the truth is that everything is Ishvara. Ishvara has planted a thought in the mind of someone like, so there is something like spirituality, oh, there is something like enlightenment, and then a book comes, and this, and that. It's all the system. It's the process of apparent evolution. We start getting in contact with some knowledge that eventually is going to free us. It's all Ishvara. But the Jiva, that's the interesting thing. Jiva is part of Ishvara, of the totality, of the system, of this order. It's part. And somehow it has a limited impact on the field and Ishvara, and he can present some actions here that can somehow shape his future or influence Ishvara, or sometimes I like to say he can put out some actions to seduce Ishvara to present him with favorable results, the result he is working for. What else can do? We can pray, oh please, take sympathy, take pity on me and give me this, give me that, or you can put an action to the field with the same spirit. Hey Ishvara, I'm doing what I can. I have been working on this enlightenment thing since many years. So now, come on, give me a hand. Be nice with me. I have been nice with you, so this order, so don't forget me. And
I think that's fun.
It's fun, yeah? And then we are somehow an integral part of Ishvara. It's a very small part, but we have a very, we can have a big influence on our karma, because our karma is always related to our actions. Our karma manifests as parabdha karma as the result of our actions. You see, it's all about that. It's from the standpoint of the jiva, there is free will. Because there is a relationship between jiva's actions and jiva's results of its actions. From the jiva point of view, there is free will. But this is a small picture. When you just place the jiva within the picture of the world, with Ishvara and the field, and then from that perspective, there is no free will. It's all Ishvara. Then when you stand from this perspective, there is no Ishvara, there is no Jiva, there is no words, and there is no free will, there is no karma, there is no nothing. It all depends where we stand.
I wanted to say develop a strong vasana for knowledge and invest a lot of, dedicate yourself, have a bhakti for that, the other vasanas are going to, be a little bit reduced. Or
of course.
And the path become clearer.
So of course.
You have quite a lot of room to, to move in the right direction.
Of course. Yeah.
You just wait for something to happen.
Yeah. People sometimes they say there's no such a thing as a spiritual development. Well, of course there is. You are talking about spiritual development. I want to apply the knowledge to my mind. I want to keep my mind always on this. This is the best symbol of the self, by the way. There are many symbols of the self, any vrittis or thoughts that represent the self, that it's a good beginning. I mean, I'm gonna bind on the self. You cannot abide in the self. You can abide in a symbol notion of what the self may be. And this is the best symbol. So keep this in mind, and this is a complete knowledge, and with the potential to reveal the self as the individual as the self, and then you see your life becomes better, your mind becomes quieter, your answers to the field become more elegant, beautiful, and appropriate, and less karma, more love and appreciation from other friends coming your direction, and so on. This is spiritual progress. It's necessary, fundamental, to purify the mind and the heart, so that we can inquire to know. Totally. Any other questions? Did we conclude this? Did we conclude this verse?
Yes.
Oh yes. And what was the verse? Huh? Okay, one more question, please. I don't want to go into 104. No more question?
Is a yani swadharma to love the truth and to seek through praxis to put it into actualize it?
I'm sorry, I did not get it.
Is the swadharma of a yani
Avyani?
to realize the truth?
Yes, I'm inclined to believe that the fundamental swadharma of every individual is to realize its own nature as the self. The swadharma is our most fundamental nature, and it's not something static. It keeps changing as we grow with maturity. In maturity and with spiritual progress, our swadharma keeps changing. And then eventually our swadharma is our nature, is the nature of knowing myself as the self. Because everything we do is for the sake of reestablish that sense of limitlessness that is the very nature of the knowledge. I am the self. Understand? Yeah.
I'm inquiring around the statement Ishvara, quote, Ishvara as the giver of the results of action has given the student the fruit of his inquiry, his or her inquiry.
Yeah.
So that is, just to clarify, that is not to say that Ishvara is an anthropomorphic being that randomly shoots out thunderbolts of force. It's just to facilitate the jiva's results or jiva's actions, and so that creates a likelihood, an increased possibility of Ishvara rewarding that.
Yeah, you're a smart young man. You most probably know about computer programs. Ishvara is a program. Actions go into the field, they go into the computer system, and then it works out all the impacts of that action in the field, and then in due time it's together with all other action of the same guy feeding the program, it brings its result. It's intelligent, it's a cosmic order that facilitates or delivers.
So it's like if I write a bad computer program and and then I play that back, the results that I get is just simply a reflection of my own ability to program. So
Right.
Ishvara is like that as a metaphor.
Well, every metaphor has limitations. I'm just speculating on that one. I never used that one before.
But I think maybe there are other factors also or not. But it's not because that you get exactly what you invest. There are other factors playing a role within the field of existence, which might have a repercussion, on your action. That means, it's not that you give one and get one back.
That's very, very, very important. Very, very important. Very beautiful. Very appropriate. Because we think that the best result of our actions is what we had in mind. But Ishvara always have in mind the needs of the total. And then the results come, you say, oh, but it's not. But it's the perfect thing because the system is impersonal. You understand?
How would one go about discerning whether their action is motivated out of a personal like or dislike, that is vasana, or whether it's guided as a direct channel, so to speak, as an Ishvara instruction to be of service?
You can see by the level of attachment you feel towards the results of that action. If you attach to the results, it means it's personally motivated. You have an investment, it's personal. And then you have to see if that personal investment is in harmony with Dharma or not. Okay? But when you don't have any attachment to the results, and then it's the best possible action. It's an action being guided by Ishvara, the field. It's just a natural, impersonal response, and in harmony with the field.
Okay, so in other words, what I'm hearing from that is there's a thought process involved, and it's lurking the thoughts and contemplating and going on, creating a loop in the mind about some activity, then it's likely jiva-motivated personal vasana, as opposed to the lack of it, there's just a natural spontaneous movement.
Yeah. Yeah, every action is motivated by desire. Every action. Everything is vasana at play. Okay? So the question is, this is the impersonal system that carries on. Even after self-realization and the knowledge being firm, it carries on. You have a desire for this, desire for that, you do. But it's not the action or the desire that counts. It's more the attitude behind it. If you see that there is a strong, that desire has a hold on you, or you have a huge attachment to the outcome of that action, and then you are being bound by that vasana, and you are putting yourself in a position that is a setup, because most of the time we don't get what we want for our action. So we are being moved by ignorance, and we are going to produce suffering, because frustration, anger, depression follows usually, But when you put an action because you understood the order, you put an action knowing that you're doing that, motivated by your desire, and your desire is in harmony with the field. Your desire is not breaking the rules, it's not hurting anybody else, it's not detrimental to anybody. And then you are putting action that is in harmony with Dharma, and on top of that, you are consecrating that action to the field, knowing that I did what I did according to my nature, my desire, and I did from a standpoint of Ishvara knowledge. I know that it's all Ishvara, okay? And I leave the result to Ishvara, and then life becomes easy. You understand? You are following your nature, but everything comes from desire. It's the question is the quality behind those desires. If it's a desire that makes you feel dependable on that for being complete and satisfied, and then it's trouble. It's a setup for suffering. But when it's a desire that it's not meant to complete yourself, but it's just an act of following your nature, respecting the needs of the total and so on, And that's what life is about. The life of the wise is about that. Just acting out, bringing Ishvara into account and the needs of the total, following one's own nature. That's what Krishna says to Arjuna. No, if you have an option between going to a cave and not acting, and being the word acting, act, because you're going to serve as a role model, you're going to serve as an example for people. It's much more helpful. I mean, Ishvara can say, hey, I brought you here, so now be my soldier, be my instrument, and go there and touch other people's life with love and peace and so on, acting. No one use the field. Because if you don't act, nobody's going to know, oh, there is a sage, he's highly enlightened, but nobody ever saw him, so what is the good, huh? Okay? Sadashiva Samarambam Shankarya Sharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Isvaro Guratemeti Mochi Beda Vibhagine Vyomava Muktyadhyaya Dakshinamurtiya Namaha Sava Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatosh Maham Om Shanti Ramji Shamkara Dayananda.